This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
The two main areas we've seen pick up are leisure and hospitality, so probably not as much a need for higher education there, but we've also seen a lot on educational services as kind of the next area where we've seen a lot of job growth as well.
Labor on the Suncoast, opportunities are there, but do these jobs pay enough to live on? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the Suncoast labor market in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin tonight with a Category 5 hurricane named Maria, who is setting her eyes on Puerto Rico. With more, let's head on over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
And it doesn't look good, Alan. We just got this in from the National Hurricane Center. The winds have now gone up to 175 miles an hour. This has a 7 o'clock advisory. Reconnaissance aircraft has been flying into the storm, and they found a pressure at 909 millibars. That's much lower, by the way, than Irma was. So at 175 mile an hour winds sustained, gusts are as high as 210, and it's headed right for St. Croix and Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, with that kind of pressure drop in just the last 2 hours, you're going to see those winds increase because there is no secondary eye wall starting to develop at this point, and it may not before it hits Puerto Rico. So this could be a strong Category 5 storm. Wouldn't be surprised to see those winds go up to 185 miles an hour over the next several hours. It's a well-defined hurricane. Obviously, there's no shear. It's an excellent environment to gain strength with warm water, and this is looking healthier than Irma did at this point. Right now, headed right toward the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, small eye, only 5 miles in diameter. Typically, an islet that size collapses on itself and a secondary one forms, and it slows the storm down in terms of wind speed. But this isn't happening. It doesn't appear to be happening right now, and unfortunately, it's going to go right through Puerto Rico as a Category 5 hurricane with winds possibly as high as 185 miles an hour and gusts as high as 220. It then will weaken as a result of the mountainous terrain of the Dominican Republic. That will kind of mess with its flow a little bit, but still a major Category 4 storm. Notice the bend. It's a little bit more to the right now, and that's a direct result of Jose. Since Jose is hanging around off the coast of Virginia, it's weakening the high-pressure ridge that's driving this storm to the west and will cause it to move more toward the north after 2 to 3 days from now. So Jose actually doing a couple of different things. One, it appears to be steering the storm away from Florida. Two, it has cooled the water temperature in front of Maria, that it will not allow it to gain much more strength once it gets sheared apart there, just parallel with Florida. So again, looking better for Florida, looking worse for Puerto Rico and St. Croix as a 175 mile an hour sustained wind now as of 7 o'clock, and a pressure that continues to drop would only indicate that the storm will get stronger before it makes landfall sometime early Wednesday morning. We'll have more coming up a little bit later. Alan?
All right, thanks, Bob. 95% of Suncoast residents who lost power during Irma now have it back, which means absolutely nothing to those 5% who don't. Florida Power and Light is staged at Roberts Arena. Irma hit the Suncoast over a week ago, and those still in the dark want answers.
Our power's been out since last Sunday, and we're the only house in our neighborhood that hasn't had power. So it means we're a single outage and we're kind of low on the priority list. It's nice to have a face to, tell you, yeah, you're still on the list. We haven't forgotten about you yet.
The FPL tent will be set up at every last customer until every last customer has their power back. FEMA will be in Manatee County all week. A follow-up now on the closure of the Venice fishing pier. A structural engineer has confirmed the pier sustained damage during Hurricane Irma. The heavy winds and rain caused the floorboards to expand, and as a result, some of the boards have shifted. It could be months before the pier is opened again to the public.
The excessive amount of wind and rain causes the stringers, which are the wood decking under the decking, which is made of composite material, to expand and contract as they get wet and dry and wet and dry.
More studies still need to be conducted, but it appears the walkway of the pier will have to be rebuilt. Florida is slowly but surely recovering from Hurricane Irma, and the state took another big step today in getting things back to normal. Tolls will return later this week. The Florida DOT announced that tolls on all state roads and bridges will be reinstated on Thursday at 12:01 a.m. The tolls have been suspended to help people evacuate quicker and help with relief efforts. Tolls will continue to be suspended on the Homestead extension of Florida's Turnpike to assist Monroe County residents. Many Floridians got sandbags to prepare for Hurricane Irma, but now there are questions about what to do with them. Sarasota County is recommending that you keep dry sandbags through the end of the hurricane season, which is November 30th. If the sand is wet or you want to get rid of it, you can spread it through your yard or put it curbside to be picked up on your normal trash days. The county is reminding people that you shouldn't get rid of sand or sandbags in storm drains because it could clog them and cause flooding. House Speaker Richard Corcoran is announcing creation of a select committee to look into hurricane-related issues, including fuel supplies and protecting seniors in nursing homes. The Select Committee on Hurricane Response and Preparedness aims to fix some of the problems discovered following Irma. Corcoran says looking out for the health and welfare of Florida residents is the most important job any elected official can do.
As a state, we have a duty and a burden to look out for the health, welfare, and safety of our people. To the extent that you had all of these literally across the state run out, for the most part, run out of gas, that can be addressed.
The 21-member committee will hold hearings in advance of the 2018 legislative session, which begins in early January. Southern Manatee Fire and Rescue is putting out a Help Wanted sign for new firefighters. The district provides hazmat response for the entire county, but the chief says that they've had a hard time keeping the unit staffed. Last year, they received a $2.4 million grant from FEMA. The chief says he plans to use the money to hire 9 new firefighters, allowing certified hazmat technicians to focus solely on those types of calls.
And the benefit is that now that truck is staffed, we won't have to wait to get and pull people from other trucks and put those out of service just to staff this truck.
The fire district is now recruiting firefighter candidates. The new firefighters are scheduled to start on January 29th. It has been nearly a year since the city of Bradenton approved a 6-month moratorium on medical marijuana dispensaries and then extended it for another 6 months. But one dispensary received approval before the ban went into effect, and it opened its doors today in Bradenton. True Leaves' 10th dispensary location in Florida. It is the only dispensary in Southwest Florida between St. Petersburg and Miami. As for medical marijuana dispensaries coming to the city of Sarasota, city leaders are still trying to figure out zoning regulations and restrictions. And still to come, there are jobs available on the Suncoast. We have more details for you after the break.
It's going to be a little bit time consuming and probably a bit tedious, but worlds better than it could have been.
We can rebuild. There's no problem about that. You know, you can put a new roof on a mobile home, you know, or new windows in there. But as long as you have your life, you know, that's all that matters.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half-mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes, B, console her,
don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
If you have a 401k, these are good times. The market has been on a tear as corporate earnings reports have sent stocks soaring. The bottom line has been very good for shareholders. But what does that mean in terms of jobs and wages you can live on? Ray Collins has the story.
We've seen jobs increase by 15,000 just in our two-county area alone.
It has been a year of growth on the Suncoast. Anthony Gagliano is in charge of business and economic development for Career Source Suncoast. He's been helping people find jobs in Manatee and Sarasota County for the past 8 years, and he says he has never seen it better than right now.
Absolutely. I mean, for somebody like myself who started in 2009 where we were seeing upwards of 200 people a day coming into this office, it's certainly been a dramatic decrease in the number of people looking for jobs, but at the same time, a big increase in that need from employers who are coming to us looking for help to try and fill the openings they have.
Now, they see about 90 people a day, and that includes a wide range of people, from Jennifer, who's trying to build up her job skills while going back to school.
I have a 1-year-old son, so, I'm building that firm foundation for him.
And then there's Orlando, who would like to work in the food industry, but something else on his resume, he says, is making that more difficult.
I'm looking for any type of work. Right now, I'm having a hard time because I'm an ex-convict, and I just can't get hired out here.
Florida Governor Rick Scott promised to create jobs, and from Gagliano's perspective, he's done it. But skeptics might ask, what kind of jobs? Hourly jobs or positions for those with college degrees?
A little of both. The two main areas we've seen pick up are leisure and hospitality, so probably not as much a need for higher education there, but we've also seen a lot on educational services.
Gagliano admits there is not a big corporate base in Sarasota and not a lot of new high-paying jobs.
In our area, when it's corporate headquarters, it's a smaller facility company, 40 to 50 is kind of where our economic development partners, those are the companies they're trying to recruit, smaller, privately owned.
So what workers are most in demand right now on the Suncoast?
The top 3 postings we have right now are RNs of have been number one for a long time right now, and then the next 2 are both retail related. So supervisors in retail and then retail salesperson those are our top 3 jobs that get posted the most often in our area. The biggest things we've seen increase in the last year are delivery driver jobs, up 22%. Again, retail supervisors also increased double digits. So we're seeing more than 100 postings a month in delivery drivers. Maids, so we talk about hospitality increase, maids and housekeepers have increased about 5% over the last year, and so obviously we know that with a lot of the new hotels coming on, increase in jobs there. Some of the biggest employers with the most job openings in our area, Brookdale, so senior living communities, our hospitals like Blake and Doctors, Bell's, especially now this time of year, they really ramp up on the distribution side. Lowe's and IMG as well, some of those employers that have a lot of job openings right now in our area.
And hopefully people like Orlando and Jennifer will be able to find 2 of those jobs. In Sarasota, Ray Collins, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
The average annual salary overall here on the Suncoast is just over $40,000 a year. In a moment, an economist, the head of the Chamber of Commerce, and a workforce specialist. We are working hard on the trapezoid.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and co-insurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-800-558-8779.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
Oh, look! A bouquet of lump-livered drolls.
We went to a real school to show that bullying should be history.
You monkey-elbowed pockmarks. What a bunch of beef-witted pig nuts.
On Monday, October 2nd, let's all stand up for World Day of Bullying Prevention by rocking a blue shirt. Together, let's make bullying a thing of the past. Go blue and get your blue shirt at stompoutbullying.org.
Welcome back. President Trump loves to boast about the stock market hitting new record highs almost weekly, and it is good news. Corporations are focused on the bottom line. Profits are up, so are stocks. Happy is the market. Pleased is your 401k. But what about the opportunities and wages for the workers who make the products that the corporation sells that contribute to the revenue that makes the stockholders happy? Joining us for more is Kevin Cooper, the president of the Sarasota Chamber of Commerce, Mariah Evie of Career Edge, and Michael Snipes, an economics instructor at Sarasota, USF Sarasota Manatee. Thank you all for joining us. So, do I have that about right? That, you know, a lot of our viewers are thrilled that the 401ks are really doing well at this point. That's good news after, you know, the recession in 2008. But it's really not translating yet to jobs that are paying enough for a lot of folks to live, especially on the Suncoast.
Sure, yeah, and it's great that, you know, we have growth in the stock market, you know, represents greater investment overall in the economy, but it's not really going to help us out if we don't own any stocks, if we don't have a 401k, if we don't have any assets like that. Any growth in the stock market's not really going to affect lower income individuals who may not have any investments or retirement plans or anything like that.
Let me phrase it this way. I even asked your predecessor at the Chamber of Commerce this very question: when are wages going to start catching up to the rebound in the stock market?
Well, with the stock market question, I think it's important to understand how the stock market figures are calculated, and I think the headline figure is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. There are 30 constituents in the Dow Jones, so it's a measure of how well these 30 companies are doing. So I think when you look at overall the stock market and corporate profitability, that isn't necessarily representative of what's happening here on the Sun Coast. And so I think it's more important to get out there and talk to local companies and understand the profit margins they are doing, because there are a lot of companies that are still recovering from the Great Recession at a pretty slow pace and seeing things bounce back. It's good to see these 30 major privately held corporations doing well, but the stock market doesn't necessarily translate back down to what's happening here on Main Street, Sarasota.
Why are they struggling still?
I think there's a lot of different things. I think there's uncertainty from a political standpoint. I think there's consumer confidence that goes into it. So I think it's not necessarily that they're struggling. I just don't think that everyone's experiencing the boom that we see at a 22,000 Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's not necessarily happening at your local retailer or your local restaurant. The profit margins aren't necessarily there to go, well, why isn't it trickling back down? It's good to see the jobs are being created. The labor market is tight here. You're seeing about a 4% unemployment rate. So people are creating jobs. Things are moving better. But I don't think it's necessarily you look at the stock market and go, well, why isn't it happening here? The stock market isn't here.
Maria, we saw in Ray's story that there are employers out there that are hungry for workers. In some cases, there are not enough available workers out there for the jobs that are available. What are you seeing in terms of the people that you represent and the companies that are looking for help?
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing is that a lot of employers are looking for talent. Talent's different. The jobs have changed. They're more technology jobs today. A lot of jobs need post-secondary education for the individuals that are going to work. But we do have jobs, but we do have a lot of folks that are going back to technical school. They are getting the trainings that they need so they could enter into the workplace. Another thing that we're doing is we're working with the technical schools to work on fast-track programs so we can get individuals into jobs with apprenticeships so they can get in there faster but continue their education as they're working and they're earning money.
That's important because I've noticed a lot of these jobs that are out there, you need some kind of certification, even if it's involving software or computer programs, even if you're doing social media, there's certain certifications, and that is not something that everybody trying to transfer has.
I think that's one thing that could represent is an opportunity for employers, right? If an employer offers to pay to retrain their workers, then that's going to be a more attractive job. You're going to attract better talent. So if employers kind of view this as an opportunity to say, hey, come work with us, we'll provide you the training we need, that should attract better employees.
All right, we are just getting warmed up. We'll have more on the local labor market right after we check the First Alert forecast. Stay with us.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabeinn.com.
Need a light bulb? Batteries Plus Bulbs has a huge selection of LEDs starting as low as $1.49.
The one inside the clothes dryer.
Oh, you use the clothes dryer.
Visit batteriesplus.com for a store near you.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
It's Willamania at the Players Center as the Will Rogers Follies takes the stage September 27th. Part homespun humor and part Ziegfeld Follies, this toe-tapping Tony Award musical is the start of our wild Broadway series. So call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You need to catch Willamania.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert weather app now.
Our conversation on the labor market continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Got to look at this monster out there right now. This is the GOES-16 new satellite that we put up there last year, which gets a lot more detail of the hurricane or clouds or storms and can actually take pictures or images faster than a radar picture can, and you can just see the intensity of this visible satellite imagery as this now has grown to 175-mile-an-hour winds with gusts as high as 205. It actually has a lower pressure now than Irma did when it had 185-mile-an-hour winds and 225-mile-an-hour gusts. Unfortunately, it's headed right toward land, too, and it looks like it's going to make landfall as a Category 5. I don't think I ever recall two landfalling Category 5 so close to one another in the 31 years that I've been doing weather. And now, as far as our weather is concerned, it's looking much better for us, too. We'll explain that in just a little bit. A few brief showers we've had this evening near the coast as some moisture is starting to get back into the weather picture. Look for a little bit better chance for some scattered showers and storms as we move through this work week and beyond. Now, as far as the radar picture goes now, live sweep showing 1 or 2 brief showers, mainly offshore. They've already moved through parts of Sarasota mainly and off into Highlands County, but the activity is very weak. Expect a few brief sprinkles there too in East Sarasota County over the next hour or so. And I would not be surprised to see 1 or 2 more lone showers popping up in the next hour, but most areas should stay dry. We don't anticipate any kind of thunderstorm activity. Well, we have Jose, and you know, Jose's been spinning around now. It's the longest running hurricane this season thus far. It's been over 13 days it has had hurricane status. It's sitting right over the Virginia coast too, and actually Jose is going to save us from Maria. 84 degrees right now. We have some clouds around and the dew point temperature 71. Feels like temperature at 89 degrees. The high today was 90, 1 degree above average. 74 was the morning low, and no rainfall to report. We're above average both on the monthly total and the yearly total at this point. Tomorrow I'll look for highs to be up near 90 degrees. There'll be a good chance for a few scattered showers and an isolated thunderstorm, more so on Thursday than Wednesday. Rain chances starting to pop up a little bit as some moisture returns. But this little trough of low pressure and Jose is weakening the high pressure ridge, which is driving Maria to the west. Now, if this high pressure were to be stronger, it would put it right into Florida's path again. And we are looking at this, though. This is what's weakening that high pressure ridge. And so this, Maria, is going to make a break for it right into the Atlantic. And it could even miss the Bahamas at this point. Jose's still out there. It's still spinning around as a hurricane, expected to become extratropical and then become a low pressure system. Maria may actually absorb the moisture and energy from the system as it works its way by later next week. And as far as Maria is concerned, again, a Category 5 storm. The good news is that all the forecast models are all grouped tightly together. There's no outliers. There's no chance of this spreading off toward the west and hitting Florida at this point. This is looking really much better for the state. So this is not a Irma redo, so to speak, for our coast. But boy, a massive storm. It's going to cause devastating and catastrophic damage into Puerto Rico, St. Croix. That begins on Wednesday morning as a Category 5 hurricane. Winds now at 175. I would not be surprised to see these go to 185 by 11 o'clock tonight, with gusts up to 220. And there's the cone of uncertainty, and it's certain that we're not in it here in Florida, so that's good news on that front. Here's the forecast then as we see it for boaters tomorrow. Seas running less than 2 feet and a light chop in the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now 85 degrees and the UV index at a 10. The tides upcoming for Sarasota Bay look like this. Low tide at 7:49, another one at 7:40 tomorrow morning. Forecast calling for partly cloudy skies. A few showers are possible over the next couple of hours, not many. And then tomorrow mostly sunny, a high of 90. The rain chance increases only to 30%, so there'll be a few around. And then the extended forecast calls for a better chance for storms on Thursday. And fall arrives officially after 4 p.m. on Friday, and we'll start to see more summer thunderstorms, though, on Friday and Saturday. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Attention! Royal Seas Cruises has just announced their deal of the day, a $99 Caribbean cruise for 2 people. This amazing cruise deal to the Bahamas is only available to the first 500 callers who register in your area today. So get ready to write down this number and act fast. We know that the best type of traveler is a repeat guest, so we're offering this $99 Caribbean cruise to prove it. That's $99 per couple, including your stateroom, all your delicious meals, full spa, live entertainment, 3 kids clubs, and more. Come see why we were voted one of the top 10 best overall cruises by Cruise Critic. We're so sure you'll enjoy yourself and become a repeat customer that you're getting this deal of the day for the unbelievable low price of just $99 per couple. But you've got to act fast. Pick up the phone and be one of the first 500 callers to take the Caribbean cruise of a lifetime for just $99 per couple. Call right now or log on to royalcruisenow.com.
Call 800-906-0489.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
We're talking about the state of the labor market on the Suncoast, and joining us right now is Kevin Cooper, the president of the Sarasota Chamber of Commerce, Maria Evie of Career Edge, and Michael Snipes, an economics instructor at USF Sarasota Manatee. And Kevin, there is another point that you wanted to make when we were talking about wage disparity here compared to other parts of the country.
I think that in the question you posed is a bit about when we're going to catch up. And I think if you look at over the past 20 years, average annual wage growth in Sarasota County has gone up by about 83%. In the United States, average annual wage growth has gone up about 85%. So we are trending relatively similar to what you're seeing across the United States in terms of wage growth. And it's important when you look at wages because really what we're talking about is take-home pay. And we're really blessed here in the state of Florida. No state income tax, no county income tax, no city income tax. So when you look at wages, really the important thing is what we're talking about is what people come home with at the end of every paycheck. And I think it's important to keep that in mind and when we look at comparatively what's really happening for folks.
Michael, when you're talking about trends, are you seeing this not only around here but across the country, the issues that Kevin is talking about, that the stock market is doing quite well, but that economic recovery and the factors that allow companies to pay their employees better, is not really catching up in terms of many companies, large and small?
Sure, and I think there's a couple different ways you can answer that question. The point that you brought up earlier, that when we're looking at the stock market and kind of the metrics that we use to measure the size of the stock market, we're looking at 20 companies. So we're looking at a very narrow slice of the economy. But in terms of kind of how that translates to the rest of the country, I think one of the things that we need to look at is also what's not necessarily just happening with increases in wages, but also what's happening with increases in prices, because that's really what we as consumers, what we really care about is it's great that I've got more money in my pocket, but does that necessarily translate to me being able to consume more, right? And when we look at our local area and how it compares to the rest of the country, prices for a lot of things are going to be pretty comparable. And we were talking over the break that one of the things that might actually be kind of skewing things here locally would be the housing market. So the housing market prices might actually be making kind of real wages, so to speak. So the amount of things that people can buy might actually be going down, but that might be really driven by one specific industry.
But I would also imagine another factor, we were also talking about this in the break where some of our best conversations happen, is the cost of health care. And that health care is rising so much, even if you have employer-based health insurance, that the real effect is that many employees are taking pay cuts every year as their premiums go up.
And the number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States is because of healthcare costs. And so as those costs continue to grow, it's going to put an ever-increasing burden on lower wage workers especially, who may not necessarily be able to afford healthcare.
Let me ask you this question, and it's a point that Michael brought up earlier in terms of what companies can do to get more and better qualified employees is to pay for and arrange for the certain certifications you need to do certain kinds of work. Are companies doing that more and more? And if they're not, why not?
They are doing it more because it's a critical need for their organization to have qualified employees working for them. So they are investing more in their employees, and a lot of them are looking at career laddering tracks for their employees, because then they have quality work and they're able to expand their markets, because employees now can, work. They're more qualified now to be able to do their jobs, because a lot of employers, they may need less employees today than they did a while back, because technology and equipment is replacing some employees. So employees need to be higher qualified to do those jobs. So they are investing in their employees.
Are there certain areas of the marketplace where the number of available employees are really, it's almost dog eat dog? And the reason why I asked that question is I read a great story by Mark Gordon in the Business Observer about a large company in our area that hired an executive search firm to get senior level executives. They got them, but at the same time the search firm took some of their employees, and it kind of underscored how difficult it is to fill some of these positions.
Well, it depends upon what kind of positions we're looking to fill. You know, there's lots of jobs available in Sarasota and Manatee County, but it may not necessarily be the higher income jobs. So there's a lot of growth in the jobs in the construction industry and the service industries and things like this. Those tend to be lower paying jobs, and so if that's where we see the job growth, that's one thing that might skew some of the numbers that we're seeing in terms of income.
Right. Again, you know, at what point do we get to that even those kind of jobs, whether they're in the construction industry or the service industry, where the pressure to fill these positions is going to result in higher salaries?
We're already seeing that because it's supply and demand, right? So when employers are competing for talent and students that are coming out of programs with the certifications, you know, they're interviewing at different places. So starting off, an employee looks at salary. What are the benefits? What's the salary I'm going to make? So employers are very aware of it. So we're starting to see salaries increase, whether you're talking in construction or trades, because they need the qualified employees, because that's how they build their businesses, with quality service to their clients, to be able to get more business.
Kevin, you have your finger on the pulse of the local business community. What are business owners telling you in terms of jobs and their ability to fill them and salaries?
Yeah, the labor market's incredibly tight right now, and I think it's a confluence of a couple factors. One, I think it's important to understand that in Sarasota County, our workforce participation rate is much lower than the state of Florida. It's much lower than the United States. I think in the United States, the workforce participation rate is like 63%. State of Florida, it's like 58%. We're 50% here in Sarasota. That means 1 out of every 2 working age people aren't interested in being in the workforce. It probably plays a lot to our retiree-based population, so that's tough to begin with. But the second piece is, and it goes to Maria's point about people investing in their employees, it's about what is the skill set. Even in the peak of the Great Recession, when you saw 11% unemployment, there were still jobs looking for people, and they simply could not make it work. And that's kind of becoming more broad as the unemployment rate goes down and as the labor market becomes more tight. Insurance firms are looking for people. Construction firms are looking for people. Restaurants, hotels. It is not symptomatic to any one industry. Right now, there is a labor market tightness across all industries.
Michael, in your opinion, is there anything that you're seeing out there that could even threaten where we are now in terms of jobs and salaries and how companies are doing?
Not necessarily. I don't necessarily see any reason to expect any kind of slowdown or downturn in kind of a big macroscopic view in a countrywide sense, and especially here in Florida, where we've got a tourism-based economy, and we're always going to have tourists coming down here for the beaches. There's always going to be opportunity to have jobs in those specific sectors. So I don't necessarily think that there's any reason to expect any kind of big downturn or shift in the market because of the type of market that we have here. We have a service-based economy. We have a tourism-based economy. I wouldn't necessarily expect that to change anytime soon.
One last area, and we were also talking about this in terms of the availability of mass transit to get people to these jobs. We're not real good at mass transit around here, and is it something that is preventing people from being able, who are getting, have or being offered these lower paying jobs, actually getting to and from work?
That is a big issue. Transportation is probably one of the biggest concerns that we hear about. And because our county is, broad, whether you're talking from Northport, coming to Sarasota, working, and it is an issue of, because it's insurance, it's a car cost, there's the transportation cost to a family, and we do not have enough of buses that get people there in the time that they need to be there.
And Kevin, I would imagine that the problem with this is, unlike other larger metropolitan areas that may not have good mass transit but need it, we don't have the same kind of population, let's say, that a Tampa or Orlando or Miami has.
Yeah, I think there's two things that are important for this point. One is the density of the population to actually make it work and actually make it feasible. But I think the need for transit points to the point of when people are able to live near where they work. The need for transit is really peaked because of that. And I think it goes back to some of the issues that Michael raised about the purchasing power. The average price of the automobile over the past 20 years has gone up about 33%. Inflation's seen it's go up 53%. Housing has gone up 150% in Sarasota County. We simply have an affordable housing issue where people are not able to live close to where they work.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, and we'll come back for final thoughts when we return.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
I dropped it on the floor, and he stepped on it.
No matter how you broke your smartphone, there's only one smart way to fix it. Batteries plus bulbs. Schedule your repair at batteriesplus.com.
Exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
We're talking about the local labor market. Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So Michael, in terms of the trends you're seeing, in terms of the available jobs and salaries, that are good enough for people to take them and make a go of it, what do you see going on?
Well, I think it's important to kind of take a big picture approach to things, right? So looking at the health of the stock market is just one piece. Looking at average incomes is just one piece. Looking at labor market participation, that's just one piece. So we tended to focus on one particular number and just kind of beat that number to death. But we need to take a more kind of holistic approach to what the labor market is actually looking like in order to kind of address where things need to be fixed. And so I think taking a bigger picture approach is be prudent.
Maria, what are your clients telling you in terms of the available jobs out there and whether or not that they will pay enough for them to actually make a living on?
Well, the jobs are out there. It's the issue is not that the jobs are out there, is do they have the skills that the employers will hire them to go into those jobs. So what we hear is that employers, they're not pickier, but they want to stick more with their job descriptions, and going in, they want individuals that have the skill set that they're looking for.
And Kevin, Michael was saying that you have to separate some of these issues, but still there are a lot of people who are watching this tonight who are hearing every night on this broadcast and others about the roaring stock market, and they're still struggling to make ends meet here. And that's the reality that a lot of people on the Suncoast are dealing with.
Yeah, but I would tell you to look around at that question and look at how many businesses in Sarasota County are on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. 0. And so it would be fallacious to look at it and go, well, this is going really well, therefore we should be doing really well. And I think the Suncoast is really bouncing back. I think we are doing well. I think it's a little, it might be a little misplaced or challenging to make the connection, and I think Michael talked about it, because there are so many different factors that go into it. It is a confluence of events, many more than we've even touched upon here tonight, that really give us a full, accurate picture of what's happening here and what we can expect in the next 5, 10 to 20 years. But the upside is jobs are being created. We have a high demand for highly skilled labor, and we can make it work here, and so we're moving in the right direction.
Okay. We'll have to leave it there. FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. Kevin Cooper is the president of the Sarasota Chamber of Commerce. Maria Evie is with Career Edge, and Michael Snipes is an economics instructor at USF Sarasota Manatee. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus President Trump met with world leaders at the United Nations. We'll have more on that when we come back.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our First Alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
A lot of questions, Alan. What's the next named storm coming up after Maria? It's Nate, and then Ophelia, Felipe, and Rena. Let's hope we end with Rena. In fact, let's hope we end with Maria at this point. The way things are going, though, that's not going to happen. NOAA's forecast continues to call for a few more storms before the official end, which is November 30th, and it looks as though we may see something in the long-range forecast. We're looking at something maybe popping up down in the Caribbean. It's a long way off, though, so a lot can happen. Lakewood Ranch webcam showing some increasing cloud cover today and a few brief showers at times across the Suncoast, but not a lot of heavy rainfall, just a few brief showers. We still have some flooding on the rivers, but they're all receding at this point, which is a good sign. And the shower activity that we did have around earlier is winding down out in the Gulf, but there's still one or two that could pop up. I see one now just in the eastern portions of Sarasota County. Not much in Manatee County right now. These continue to head off to the west-southwest at 10. Northport, right near Warm Mineral Springs, getting a little sprinkle, if you will, at this point. A little bit better chance, though, for some scattered showers to begin tomorrow, but more so on Thursday and Friday. Well, the water vapor imagery is still showing that dry air kind of hanging around our area, and it's thinning out, though. That's going to give us a little bit better chance for some scattered storms throughout the upcoming days. And it looks as though the dry air out ahead of Maria is really not hindering it at all as it is pushing out of here. One thing we do note, though, is that this particular storm, which is Jose, is causing the high-pressure ridge that drives these storms to the west to weaken. And if that happens, and we think it will actually turn more toward the north, avoiding the Bahamas even. Now, Florida is out of the mix as far as any forecast model is concerned, so that's good news. You can breathe a sigh of relief. I know you're kind of still hesitant. You should be, but it's very unlikely that a storm center gets out of that cone of uncertainty. In fact, 90% of the storms stay within that cone as the 5-day forecast goes. 84 degrees right now, the heat index at 89, and the dew point temperature 71. The pressure has been hanging around right around 29.91 inches. And the forecast tomorrow is calling for a few brief showers tomorrow afternoon, maybe a thunderstorm, but showers particularly, and then we'll see a high right around 90 degrees, so temperatures slightly above average. Now, the reconnaissance aircraft has been flying into this storm, and the latest pressure again is at 906 millibars now. an incredibly low pressure, so it continues to strengthen. This just came in from the hurricane hunters, and it's at 906. That's much lower than the 914 Irma was at. And pressure, what it does is the pressure lowers, that air has to be filled in, and that air is actually then increased by wind speed. As that air rushes in to fill that pressure or that vacuum, the wind speeds increase. The winds have increased to 175, and I would not be surprised to see those even go higher before it makes landfall in the U.S. Virgin Islands as well as Puerto Rico on Wednesday morning. So this is not the best news at all, as conditions are favorable for further strengthening in that northeastern corner of the Caribbean. And it doesn't appear that it's going to go through this eye wall replacement where the center eye gets so strong that it collapses and a secondary eye develops. That usually means the storm will weaken a little bit. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to do that before it makes landfall, which is very unfortunate for the island of Puerto Rico as well as the U.S. Virgin Islands. Northeast winds turn to the north for boaters tomorrow here. Seas running 2 feet or less. A light chop out there. Sunset will be tomorrow at 7:30. Sunrise will be at 7:18. Forecast, a few showers and winding down the next couple of hours. Otherwise, partly cloudy tomorrow. Sunshine and a 30% chance for late day storms. The extended forecast is calling for a little bit better chance for storms to move in on Thursday and stick around for the last day of fall, or summer I should say, on Friday, and a little drier on Sunday. Al will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 1-800-468-1930. Go online or visit a Target store today.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Checking our primetime headlines, President Trump's speech to the United Nations addressed what he sees as the most pressing global concerns, including North Korea, Iran, and ISIS. And some of his comments to the General Assembly are raising eyebrows. ABC's Ariel Reshef is outside the UN with the story.
President of the United States of America.
Today, all eyes trained on President Trump as he made his debut on the world's most prominent diplomatic stage. Trump launching right into his America First vision in a room full of foreign leaders.
As long as I hold this office, I will defend America's interests above all else.
The harshest words reserved for U.S. adversaries. The president blasting the North Korean regime for its defiance and brutality.
Rocket Man, is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able, but hopefully this will not be necessary.
And issuing this stunning and ominous warning.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea.
On Iran, the president hinting a major shift could be on the horizon.
The Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into. Frankly, that deal is an embarrassment to the United States.
Signaling a possible U.S. withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal, an agreement supported by many key U.S. allies. A speech packed with shock and awe from a president known for being predictably unpredictable.
The president also condemned nations that support international terrorism and called out Syrian President Bashar al-Assad for using chemical weapons against his own people. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, the United Nations.
At least 116 people are dead after a magnitude 7.1 earthquake struck central Mexico this afternoon. It was felt in the center of Mexico City, which is only about 75 miles away from the epicenter. The quake comes on the 32nd anniversary of a magnitude 8 earthquake in September 1985 and a week after a magnitude 8.1 earthquake off the southern coast of the country, which killed at least 61 people. Donald Trump Jr. is asking the Secret Service for less protection and more privacy. The president's children are assigned a detail but not legally required to have it. Most recently, Trump asked to travel without protection on a family trip to the Bahamas. The Secret Service says for safety reasons it can't confirm who is currently receiving protection, but sources say the agency has pushed back on Trump Jr.'s request. The South Korean and U.S. military carried out live fire drills on Tuesday near the North Korean border. 1,000 troops stage a mock battle to retake a village from enemy hands, naming the drill Warrior Strike 8. The drill comes a day after the U.S. and Japanese military held annual military exercises near Mount Fuji, just days after North Korea fired a second missile over Japan. That's all the time we have this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.